Page 154. At the end of the alley, he could see men clustered like grapes. One large whooping voice spiraled over the heads of the bended forms, the kneeling forms, the leaning forms, all intent on one ground spot. As he came closer, he inhaled a ripe and stimulating man smell. The men were gathered, just as the man in the pool hall had said, for and about dice and money. Each figure was decorated some way with a slight piece of green. Some of them had separated their money, folded the bills around their fingers, clenched the fingers in two fists, so the neat ends of the money stuck out in a blend of daintiness and violence. Others had stacked their bills, creased them down the middle, and held the wad as though they were about to deal cards. Still others had left their money in loosely crumpled bills and crumpled balls. One man had money sticking out from under his cap. There was more money in those black hands than Charlie had ever seen before. He shared their excitement, and the dry mouth apprehension of meeting his father gave way to the slight flow of excitement. He glanced at the faces, looking for the one who might be his father. How would he know him? Would he look like a larger version of himself? At that moment, Charlie could not remember what his own self looked like. He only knew he was 14 years old, black, and already 6 feet tall. He searched the faces and saw only eyes, pleading eyes, cold eyes, eyes going flat with malice, others laced with fear, all focused on the movement of a pair of dice. One man was throwing, snatching up, and throwing again, chanting a kind of litany to which the others responded, rubbing the dice as though they were two hot coals. He whispered to them. Then, with a whoop, the cubes flew from his hand to a chorus of amazements and disappointments. Then, the thrower scooped up money, and someone shouted, "Take it and crawl, you water dog, you the best I know." There was some laughter, and a noticeable release of tension, during which some men exchanged money. Charlie tapped an old white-haired man on the back. "Can you tell me in Samson Fuller round here somewhere?" Fuller. The name was familiar to the man's tongue. "I don't know. He who here somewhere. There he is, in the brown jacket." The man pointed. A man in a light brown jacket stood at the far end of the group. He was gesturing in a quarrelsome, agitated manner with another man. Both of them had folded their faces in anger. Charlie edged around too, where they stood, hardly believing he was at the end of the journey. There was his father, a man like any other man, but there indeed was his father, where his eyes, his mouth, his whole head, his shoulders lurked beneath that jacket, his voice, his hands, all real. They existed, really existed, somewhere. They existed, really existed, somewhere. Right here. Charlie had always thought of his father as a giant of a man. So when he was very close, it was with the shock that he discovered that he was taller than his father. In fact, he was staring at a balding spot on her father's head, which he suddenly wanted to stroke. While thus fascinated by the pitiable, clean space to stroke, while thus fascinated by the pitiable, clean space hedged around by neglected toss of wool, the man turned a hard, belligerent face to him. What you want, boy? I mean, is you Samson Fuller? Who sent you? Huh? You Melville's boy? No, sir. I'm Charlie Blink. He could not remember his mother's name. Had he ever known it, what would he say? Whose boy was he? He wouldn't say, I'm your boy. That sounded disrespectful. The man was impatient. Something wrong with your head? Who told you to come after me? Nobody. Charlie's hands were sweating. The man's eyes frightened him. I just thought, I was just wandering around and my name is Charlie. But Fuller had turned back to the game that was about to begin anew. He bent down to toss a bill on the ground and waited for a throw. When it was gone, he stood up and in vexed and whining voice shouted at Charlie, tell that B she get her money. Now get the F out of my face. Charlie was a long time picking his foot up from the ground. He was trying to back up and walk away. Only with extreme effort could he get the first muscle to cooperate. When it did, he walked back up the alley, out of his own shade, toward the blazing light of the street. As he emerged into the sun, he felt something in his legs give way. An orange crate with a picture of clasping hands passed it on. Inside was appended on the sidewalk. Charlie sat down on it. The sunshine dropped like honey on his head. A horse-drawn fruit wagon went by, the driver singing, fresh from the vine, sweet as sugar, red as vine. Noises seemed to increase in volume. The click-clock of the woman's heels, the laughter of idling men in doorways. There was a streetcar somewhere. Charlie sat. He knew if he was very still, he would be all right. When the trace of pain etched his eyes, and he had to use everything to send it away, if he was very still, he thought, and kept his eyes on one thing, the tears would not come. So he sat in the dripping honey sun, pulling every nerve and muscle into service to stop the fall of water from his eyes. Thank y'all for tuning in. We're going to stop at page 157. This is The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. And yeah. So later or tomorrow, we're going to start right there. And all I'm going to say before I hop off, I don't know what y'all going through, but keep your head up. Keep thriving. Stay motivated. The best shit's to come. We